quick demonstration on how to use the new Trax 2.0 tracking portal. Using any modern web browser, Chrome, Firefox, Internet Explorer, Edge, go to trax.jab-tronix.com. Once you're there, enter in your account name and your password, and then click Sign In. If you typed in the wrong information, you'll get a message up here saying invalid credentials. Check your username and password and click Sign In again. Once you're signed in, you will see all your devices centered on the map. In the table below, you'll find more detailed information on the last reported event. It'll give you the event stamp in your time, the last known status, ignition state, speed, the full address will be right below this piece that says address, altitude, heading, lat long, virtual odometer. If you don't see this information in the table below, you can adjust this piece up or down. If you have an odd resolution, it may be cut off and you may see something like this, or it may not even be visible on the page, and you may have to scroll down and you can adjust this bar up. So let me get it adjusted up. There, now I have a pretty good view of the table. If you click on the device, you'll get the same information, and you'll also get street level imagery if available for that location. You should also see the full address in this last known report. Now clicking on Trax. Will give us, if we want to see any trips that were made by the vehicles, we can select a time range. I'm going to select a custom range, but these are pretty handy if you just want to see where it's been in the last few hours or whatnot. But I'm going to do custom range. I'm going to select a time from last year when we went on a short trip. Let's see here. Select your vehicle. You should see all your vehicles in your account under select device. Select the path color, click get tracks. Depending on how big the trip was, it may take a minute or so to pull up that info. Okay, you can see now, I'm going to zoom out and you can see the path that was driven by that vehicle during that time frame. All the red balloons are stops. If you click on any of the red balloons, it's gonna show you the closest level street imagery if available. It's also going to show you, this is useful, the time stopped at the location, the stop time, the time when the ignition turned off, and the address. So I could go through these and I can see where we stopped, how long we were stopped at each location, the time that we stopped. If I want to see all the granular points that reported in between these stops, I can go down here on this table and click toggle waypoints, and it'll populate the trip with all these little balloons, and if there's street level imagery available, it will show it if you click on the balloon. Okay, I'm going to take these off, and let's say we kind of want to replay the trip. To do that, this is a long trip, so I'm going to set the playback speed pretty fast. I'm going to leave it on update every half second. Then just click the play button, and it will load up your trip, and it'll start playing through it at a speed of every half second. So I could zoom out here and we can watch the device travel through this trip. if you want to pause it, you can click this pause playback. To resume it, you can click the pause again. Also, I'm zooming in and out with my mouse wheel. You can also use the plus and minus over here. And you can also change the background layer from basic roads to satellite by clicking on this map and satellite button. And when you zoom in with this satellite layer, you're going to get a little more detail. And I can even, if I want to pause this and I want to try to figure out what this place was, I can click on this stop balloon. Or I can take the little person icon over here on the right and I can drag it down here. There she is. And if I want to go back to my map, I just hit this little back arrow. Then if I want to resume playing, I just click the pause button again and it will resume. I'll go back to my map view. Let's say I don't want to watch this anymore. I can just hit cancel playback. That'll kill the whole thing. If I want to remove the tracks and everything from the screen, just click the little trash can under remove tracks and it will remove it. Now moving on to reports. Let's just say I want a quick rundown of everywhere the vehicle has went for the last 24 hours in a report form. I can select trips, last 24 hours, and then I can select the device, click run report. It'll tell you the start location, the time traveled, the distance traveled, the time the trip ended, and the stop location. If you need detailed addresses, click this button, get detailed addresses, and it will further reverse geocode the addresses to get that extended address. It only takes about a minute to run for each report, and it'll give you a lot more detail. You can see now that it's complete, we have a numerical address with the start location and the numerical address with the stop location, and it'll tell you how long we were at the stop location. If you want a report that gives you every single piece of information that the device reported in, go to GPS raw data, select your time frame, click run report, and that will give us every single point that reported in, the event stamp, the address, altitude, heading, ignition, lat long, speed, status, and your virtual odometer. And once again, if you want more detailed addresses, just click on get detailed address and wait for that to finish reverse geocoding. If you have geofences set up, you can click geozones. You can run that report, and then if it went through any geofences, it'll tell you when and where. We have engine hours. I want to know how many hours the engine ran, let's say over the last 24 hours. You could see that it ran for a total of 59 minutes. You can search for ignition on-off times. Input toggle, so if you have a hardwired device with the IOs tied to specific things. You can search for any transitions. Distance, we can run a distance report over a period of time for a certain device. That'll give you the total distance for that time period right here at the bottom right hand corner. Maintenance, if you have any maintenance messages set up for oil changes or any other periodic maintenance, run this report and it'll tell you if you've had any maintenance messages triggered. Overspeed, I want to see if the vehicle broke 80 miles an hour in the last 24 hours. Oh, looks like I did it a couple times here. You can see the speed, almost 82 miles an hour, almost 81 miles an hour. Tell me the time. Status code, you can search for a specific status. I want to see if my OBD device was ever unplugged. Let's see. No, looks like it hasn't been. I can also search for things like I want to know when the engine turned off, so I could search for that status code. And you can see it'll pull any points where the engine shut off. Next up, let's take a look at geofences. If I click on geofence, it'll automatically render any geofences stored in my account on the map. If I want to erase any of those, you just click the little trash can next to the fence that you want to erase. So let's erase this new melee one. I'm going to click the trash can. You can see it's right here. So if I click the trash can, you can see it's now gone. And you also get a confirmation over here that it's been successfully deleted. Let's create a new geofence and tie an alert to that fence. I'm going to make a fence around how about this middle school here. So I'm going to click create new geofence, and you can see new tools just popped up here at the top. If I click draw a rectangle, it enables the pointer right here. I can select the area I want to enclose. Once I'm done drawing that, let's say I didn't like that, I can just redraw it again and it'll get rid of the original one. Type in the geofence name, call it middle school, click save geofence. You'll get the confirmation successfully added geofence, and you'll now see it on the map with your other fences. Oops, now that I'm done drawing, I'm going to click cancel. You'll see our new fences right here. Let's tie a notifier to this fence. I want to know anytime my OBD device goes inside this fence. So click notifiers. I want to create a new notifier. We'll call it middle school. Notifier type, it's going to be a geofence type, and right when you select geofence, it automatically puts all your geofences back on the map so you can see which one you're selecting. I'm going to select middle school, and I want to know anytime my OBD device goes through that fence, and I'm going to have that alert go to my cell phone. So I'm going to type in my phone number here. And I also want a web portal alert, so I'm going to check this box. A web portal alert is basically if you're in the portal And if the device crosses into that boundary, you're going to get a little pop-up message saying whatever you type in here. I'll say vehicle, and then this little short code, it just gives the device name. Sent, we're going to say crossing into, and then you could see if I do short code 1, it'll give the geofence name, which will be middle school. So it's going to say vehicle, Cadillac OBD sent crossing into middle school geofence at, and then I'm going to put the date, and then here is a Google link. If I do 7, it'll send a Google link to my phone, which is handy, so I don't have to log in or pull up the portal or anything. I'll just get a text message with this message, and at the end there'll be a link encoded, so I could just click on that link on my phone, and it'll pull up a Google map, and it'll put the position of the vehicle on there. So once I'm happy with everything, I can just click Save Notifier. Once that's complete, you'll see it's now added into your notifier list. If I want to get rid of it, I just click the little trash icon, and it'll delete it.